So there he is, Boris Johnson, getting into number 10. Dedicated, committed to the Brexit deadline, 31st of October, and the new leader of the Lib Dems, Joe Swinson, wants to stop Brexit, but that's not going to happen because Boris Johnson is going to make it happen no matter what the deal is.
Well, I think both of them obviously are in positions which would be difficult to carry out tomorrow. But basically, Boris Johnson has boxed himself into this situation of 31st of October deadline. What's clear from the reaction on the continent is basically, including the Commission President-elect, saying we'll give Britain as much extra time as they need to try and sort things out, because there they realise it's not possible. Now, of course, what Joe Swinson has been arguing is that we need to have a process, yes, an extension of Article 50, and have a people's vote, a new referendum, and then it will be up to the British people to decide whether they accept what situation Boris Johnson brings before, or to remain.
What about the Lib Dems' position on a vote of no confidence? I suppose they'll be joining Jeremy Corbyn when he decides to call that.
Well, I think it was right in an earlier package on the programme when it was saying basically that an early vote of no confidence is unlikely to succeed. John McTernan was saying basically that the Tories will rally round. They're very good at doing that, even when there are quite serious rebels on the back benches. But I think what we may see in quite soon is, unless Boris Johnson is able to pull a rabbit out of the hat and Europe suddenly changes its mind, which I don't think it's going to do, he runs the risk then of becoming the sort of Lady Jane Grey of modern British politics. She lasted 9 days in July 1553 as the de facto queen. Can he last much longer, given the impossibility of delivering Brexit, unless he literally crashes out? And then I think we will see Tory MPs rallying round to try and stop that and bring him down.
There'll be a mutiny to bring him down, then a general election. Jo Swinson said she will not in any way get into bed with Labour. She was certainly not complimentary about Boris Johnson yesterday, but are we perhaps looking at a likely alliance between the Lib Dems and Conservatives? Another coalition?
I think a Lib Dem coalition with the Conservatives is not very likely at all. I think Jo Swinson's objection was mainly to a Labour Party led by Jeremy Corbyn, for obvious reasons. But what seems to be coming together is that there is a great deal of cross-party talk, including some Conservatives, which could potentially move towards some sort of government of national unity, which would have elements of all the parties, but particularly, obviously, Lib Dem, Labour, SNP and so on.
Would that therefore solve the problem of so many people in this country feel politically homeless? Do you think that will solve the problem?
I think it could be a rallying point. I mean, Boris, in his rather lacklustre speech at the announcement today, said he wanted to unify the country, but I don't think he can unify the country. But a government of national unity possibly could, because people would say, well, look, this is a national crisis, worst thing we've faced in peacetime, and that therefore maybe we can rally behind a united front to find out what is the best way forward.